to its fullest. We know as we hit our 50s, 60s, 70s that we need to target this. It turns out that there's a special type of curcumin, and we call it our phytosome process, where we unleash the power of these principal activating compounds in curcumin, and we get it right with clinical curcumin so that you have something that you can rely on to kind of unleash the power and get back and enjoy the activity and the play and the fun and the things you like to do. I would say, Neil, I mean, as a chiropractor, you must see people almost every day. What do you tell somebody to do? And here comes along curcumin, and it really ought to be in your regimen.
Right. I have people that come to me all the time. Of course, as a chiropractor, I'm seeing necks and backs, but I also see hips, knees, ankles, shoulders, wrist. It runs the gamut. And I like to take care of them. I work on the muscles. I work on the joints naturally, but I like to send people home with something that they can do to support their joints too. As we get beyond 50, we just tend to have more inflammation along with our daily activities that we're doing. So when I know that they're taking the clinical curcumin, they're working from the inside out, supporting a healthy inflammation response. And that's so important, of course, for the joints and the muscles, but for the brain, for the inside of the arteries, for healthy circulation. It does so much for us, even for people listening. How about skin health? How about eye health? All these things are important.
Absolutely.
Jason, I don't know about your friends, but my friends, my chiropractor friends, we all take vitamin D in the winter. We all take omega-3s, but we also all take curcumin. And if people just understood what the three of us understand, everybody would be on curcumin because, this does so much for your health, especially beyond 50. It's really one of those cornerstone nutrients that everybody should be taking.
Well, no question. I could tell a personal story. So about a year ago, a little secret, guys, I go into our local vitamin store here in Plainview every few weeks because I like to see what's going on, what the hot sellers are, what people are looking for. And one occasion I went into this store and I asked the lady behind the counter, hey, what's hot? What are people coming in and asking for? And without hesitation, she said, everybody wants curcumin. Everybody. And literally, as she was saying that, another customer walked in behind me and said, hey, where's the curcumin? And then she sent her to the aisle where the curcumin was, and she says, see? And before I can get another word out, another customer came running over and said, I'm looking for turmeric, curcumin. My friend told me to try it for my knees. And the woman just looked at me and laughed and shrugged her shoulders and said, see what I'm talking about? And I will say from my own personal experience, you guys know I'm big into doing body weight exercises, push-ups and dips. And I worked my way up to doing a lot of push-ups. But when I do high volume push-ups, it absolutely destroys my shoulders and makes me very, very sore. The only thing that works for me, is curcumin. And that is what inspired us to create this product and share it with our customers. Purity Products, folks, we've been around for 30 years almost, and we've been working with different joint products that can do a lot of different things. But curcumin is one of those joint products that does all sorts of other things besides just managing joint health. So I want to get into some of the other benefits that curcumin deliver. Jan, why don't you take that?
Jay, because I want to just kind of amplify what you were saying. And I remember Neil in a previous show, he talked about curcumin. He said, he tells his patients, don't leave good years behind. A very interesting kind of mindset to have as we get older. We want to tap on the brakes of aging. We don't want to hit that accelerator when we're 55, 65, 75. And so I'm thinking about clinical curcumin. I want people who are listening to think about themselves, and let's think about how clinical curcumin can work to touch on so many areas that might be of concern to you. I'm taking this from healthline.com, a great blog where you see tons of information. They call it the top 10 health benefits of curcumin. I want to just consolidate this for our listeners. Number one, curcumin is an inflammatory support compound after exercise and activity. But number two, and I love this, is curcumin for brain function. They talk about what's called brain-derived neurotropic factor, and that's critical for healthy brain function. Curcumin supports this process, and it's linked to healthy cognition and brain function. We need this as we get older. Let's talk about curcumin for healthy cardiovascular function and for healthy lipids. We've got clinical research on our Mariva curcumin, which is phenomenal in its research and a bioactivated curcumin that gets into those blood cells. Most people don't know that curcumin plays a vital role in managing oxidative stress. Very, very useful for cellular protection. We talked about curcumin for brain function, curcumin for joint comfort. I'm going to maybe ask Dr. Levin to get into that treadmill study next, because that may be curcumin's best way that it shines in your health. So curcumin is a headline ingredient. If it's not in your regimen, you're really missing out, and we don't want people to miss out on the benefits of curcumin any longer.
Absolutely, Jan. You went down an amazing list, and that is just the tip of the iceberg. And we're going to get into some of these different areas where curcumin can benefit us. But I do think it's a good time for Neil to discuss the treadmill studies that have been done. There are actually 2 studies. So, Dr. Levin, why don't you get into that a little bit? How can this help our customers, our listening audience out there, people that go walking? How can this really help make a huge difference?
Yeah. I have to say my patients love this study. I'll often bring this up because I have so many walkers, hikers, and even if you're not a walker, if you are a jogger or you're a golfer and you're walking around the golf course, this pertains to you. So what they did, the first study of this type that they did is 50 subjects. They were evaluated over a 3-month period, and they studied their mobility by tracking their performance on a treadmill that was on a very steep incline. Jan, the incline was 10 degrees. You've been on a treadmill, Jan. Yes. I know that's part of your regimen. 10 degrees is a steep incline on a treadmill.
For sure.
That's brutal.
It is brutal.
So after 2 months, the folks on curcumin, they could walk twice as far as the placebo group. In 3 months, they could literally walk 4 times farther uphill on a treadmill. So then they did a follow-up study, because that was a 3-month study. They wanted to see, are these benefits long-lasting? All right. And so they did the study again, same 10-degree incline, same treadmill. What they found was they could walk 4 times farther, and they maintained that benefit over a long period of time. So flexibility, fantastic benefits, physical functioning, more comfortable, able to walk farther. I mean, this is really an amazing substance. And Jay, I know that you're going to tell people how to get this for less than $10. This is something that really no one should miss the opportunity of trying, because it's a huge difference maker.
Guys, there is really nothing out there that compares to curcumin. Nothing. We get a lot of questions about CBD, for example. It's hot in the marketplace right now, but when people ask me, should I try CBD, I immediately say, before you do that, go with something that has hundreds and hundreds of clinical studies, and that is curcumin. But if you're going to take curcumin, you have to take the right one. Ours is the right one, and for 4 very good reasons. It's 29 times more bioavailable than unformulated regular curcuminoid mixtures. It gets into your bloodstream twice as fast. It stays there longer. And there are dozens of published studies on this exact ingredient that we're telling you about today in our product, which we call clinical curcumin. And like Dr. Levin said, you can get started with a bottle of clinical curcumin for $9.95 per bottle right now as a starter bottle with free shipping. So let me give everyone that 800 number to give us a call. Put curcumin to the test, see what it can do for you. It is really an incredible compound. You just need to see it to believe it. And now you can see it for less than $10. Give us a call, 1-800-883-8840. That's 1-800-883-8840. 8840. By the way, if you're one of the first 1,000 callers today, Purity's also going to throw in a free bonus gift, our B12 Energy Melts. That is, folks, our #1 best-selling product by volume. It's a little melt tab. You put it right under your tongue. Also, one of our favorite products. Do not miss this chance to get started with clinical curcumin for less than $10 with free shipping and the B12 Energy Melts. You will never get a better deal on curcumin. 1-800-883-8840. 1-800-883-8840. I will give that number out again a little bit later on in the show. But Jan, why don't I hand it off to you? Curcumin's become a little bit of a passion project for you. You've been spending a lot of time talking about it lately. I know you use it every single day. Why don't you give us some of your favorite highlights of curcumin and why you're so passionate about it, why you want our customers to really make it part of their daily reg?
You know, Jay, when we talk about workhorse ingredients, we have specialty ingredients out there. You know, if somebody's struggling with regularity, for example, they certainly need fiber, and fiber gets that job done. But when you think about the versatility of curcumin, I'm looking here at the research on curcumin and the brain-derived neurotropic factor. Here's an article out of Nutrition Research from September 2019, and the title is Short-Term Curcumin Supplementation Supports Serum Brain-Derived Neurotropic Factor. That's also called BDNF in adult brain women. And this is a systematic review, like a meta-analysis of randomized controlled trials. And listen to the takeaway here. Dose-dependent response was performed and 140 participants were included. Curcumin supported this brain-derived neurotropic factor, hence supporting cognitive function and brain health. As we get older, we're looking for one ingredient that can do a lot of things. Look, we all want that one little pill that can do a whole bunch of things reliably, clinically, and efficiently. Curcumin checks off those boxes, whether it's brain function, whether it's joint function, as Dr. Levin was just saying. We know that curcumin, because it fights oxidative stress and helps us manage inflammation as it's associated with aging and daily living so well, gets so many jobs done. So, I mean, if you're a consumer out there, you're asking the question, what's curcumin going to do for me for real? Not like in theory or hypothetically. For real, curcumin is going to manage your joint health. You're going to feel better. Curcumin gets that job done. It's brain function. Curcumin gets so many jobs done. Don't forget the mood, and don't forget muscle mass. I'd like to toss it back over to Neil, because in these joint management, they're also looking at muscle mass. As we age, muscle mass goes down. It's a key barometer of aging. If we can increase muscle strength as we age, good for us. Guess what? Curcumin gets that job done. Neil, maybe you can share with us the study.
Sure. I love that aspect with curcumin because, you want your joints and muscles to be more comfortable, but, I see it regularly. I'll get somebody in my office and maybe they're 70 or 65, and you look at their legs versus the legs of a young man or a young woman in their 20s or 30s, they've shrunk. When we get older, we lose muscle mass. So can curcumin actually help in this regard? Turns out it can. I've seen it firsthand. But let's go to this European Review of Medical and Pharmacological Sciences. Patients 65 and older, they got a standard exercise regime with diet coaching, or they got that plus curcumin, or they got that plus our curcumin.